Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Word Show, I believe it is number 52. No, it's 53. We're at Morning Word Show number 53. My name is Joseph. I do poetry here in the mornings, early mornings, for those on the East Coast of the United States, very early mornings for anybody to the west, and middays to anybody that is to the east of that. I am looking at one amazing sunrise coming through the window. And I want to start with this poem by Billy Collins today. The title of the poem is Gold. I don't want to make too much of this, because the bedroom faces east across the lake here in Florida, when the sun begins to rise and reflects off the water, the whole room is suffused with the kind of golden light that might travel at dawn on the summer solstice, the length of a passageway in a megalithic tomb. Again, I don't want to exaggerate, but it reminds me of a brand of light that could illuminate the walls of a hidden chamber full of treasure, pearls and gold coins overflowing the silver platters. I feel like comparing it to the fire that Aphrodite lit in the human eye, so as to make it possible for us to perceive the other three elements. But the last thing I want to do is risk losing your confidence by appearing to lay it on too thick. Let's just say that the morning light here would bring to any person's mind the rings of light that Dante deploys in the final cantos of the Paradiso to convey the presence of God, while bringing the Divine Comedy to a stunning climax, and leave it at that. That was Gold by Billy Collins to start our morning. I want to welcome Win City Chess. David, welcome to the stream. I hope that you are doing well this morning, and anyone else that is tuning in. I had a most amazing experience on Saturday. I was at the Walking Wall, as the Walking Wall poet tends to do, but I wasn't typing. I actually went to a tea room for the first time. It's been a tea room that's been there since I've moved here over 3 years ago, and I never went to the tea room. And I had a transcendental experience. That's the only way I could kind of describe it. I had a caffeine-free, beautiful tasting tea, and I'm not really, I'm a skeptic on substances sometimes. I think coffee does caffeinate you, that type of thing. But this tea just put me in such a spot that I felt a deep connection to God and the cosmos and everything. And then I had a wonderful conversation with a very nice man, one of the nicest men I've ever met on the Walking Wall. His name is David. And we just kind of talked, and he was lifting up the tea room, like he was supporting it. Anytime a customer would walk in, he'd say, "They have great tea here, you should check this out." He was sitting having his own tea, and he just was full of energy. But then this couple came in that had been literally traveling from Texas, coming to visit Winchester. I was like, wow, look at, coming to visit our little humble city. And the guy told me his story about how he, and Win City Chess knows Mr. Dave. Yes, Mr. Dave he is a character on the Walking Wall. He is so kind. He's just so kind. And every time, and Win City Chess says he's a very special man. So you know him too, David. That is really something. And we were just like sitting, facing the windows of the tea room, enjoying the rain and conversating and talking about his life. And ultimately, we exchanged numbers at the end just because I knew that I needed to keep in touch with this man. And then this couple walked in, and this guy told me basically his Finding God story, and how he basically found God because he was literally trying to encode songs off of a record player for his parents, and he basically had what he said is a St. Paul moment. And then he asked me to write a poem about it, but he didn't ask me to write a poem. He asked me to freestyle ad-lib a poem. Now, it wasn't the best at all, but I did. Like I took a shot at it, and he started crying. He broke down. He said it was beautiful. It was, and I was shocked by that. But what I realized is that, like, I'm on here doing the poetry. I love doing the poetry on here, and I love connecting with people. We have our typewriter emojis. Since you've been here, David, typewriter emojis have made appearances on the chat. But and I just love being here writing the poetry. But what I realized, which is really special, is that, you know, this is the rabbit hole, you know, like, and it's one of those things that's echoed in a lot of the Meaning Wave songs, like the songs that we're just playing this morning, is how if you can push the art, and it doesn't have to be pushed, you could just do the art, but if you push the art, how far can you take it? How incredible can the words be of power? Like I was on a poetry reading call yesterday, and this lady, I think she's Israeli. She read a lot of poems that mixed in Hebrew, and talked about being in Israel. She her reading was just powerful, so powerful, and I was like, you know, and I think I've been reading a lot and I've been doing okay, but I was just blown away by what she was doing, and then there was the experience at the theater last week where I read the They Are There and Now We're Here back and forth poems together, and something happened in the energy. Like something is, I feel like even though I've been doing a lot of poetry, I'm getting more in touch with the energy here. And it's been very special. And I'm just grateful and glad to be able to do that and to be able to have a community and a place to do that. I have decided that this week I will stream at a certain point other than on 7 a.m. in the mornings. The problem I've realized is that scheduling is just real tough. So I might do it spontaneously. I might throw it up on a schedule and then do it. I don't know. It's kind of like a little bit of both. But welcome, Femke, with your typewriter emoji there. I took a picture of the typewriter emojis, and I'm actually gonna actually message just my typewriter, the one that made the video telling me the history about all those emojis, and I'm gonna tell her like, yeah, this happened, which is fun. So this morning I didn't really have a plan. I have been working on I have a little rule. I don't tend to bring my darker poems onto this stream, and I have literally a pile of darker poems that I've been working on. I have a poem that has a lot of problems. That's that one. What else do I have here? This is my projects folder. Okay, let's get all that. Not that one. This one is a little dark. That's dark. That one was a COVID poem. That one's dark. That one's sad. Oh, I like this one. I think that this one is snarky enough that I can throw it up on the stream, and I could work on it and run it and see how things go. Oh, we got some glare coming in here. I might have to fix that. So this poem that I have here is called Accommodation. And what happened was it was an angry poem. There was this point, and you guys might figure it out. I don't know how much TV or stuff you were watching around the time that COVID-19 really started cranking, but my wife and I were watching something on Hulu, and I think we were watching Seinfeld actually. So we were going through Seinfeld on Hulu, and Hulu, the version that we had, has commercials. Well, you can look up articles about this. Advertising got really weird really weird around the time that COVID-19 started breaking, because basically all these ad departments, first of all, were not sure what to say. COVID-19 is awkward. And so there were a lot of places that were leveraging the crisis for sales. Now, you can't blame an advertising department for trying to do its job, but the fact is it was very, it really didn't, it didn't treat it right. Like, it was one of those places where advertising should not have gone, and it went, and the result was something that really contrasted beauty. And there were some advertisements which were very beautiful, that managed to say, hey, we know that we can't say anything deep about this pandemic, or something like that. Like, we're not going to just throw our brand on there. Or they did something which was kind of like not shining light on themselves. But there was some where it was like, AT&T is here to help you. Maybe hopefully they don't come at me for that. But AT&T is here to help you. Keep everything on while the pandemic is happening. Like, I don't need to be reassured by AT&T. Like, it was rather pretentious, like, and the fact is some of these companies that even had essential workers that were putting their lives at risk, like, and like, it was just more like there was so much, and you remember the time was very weird. So I literally whipped out my typewriter in the middle of a commercial at a certain point and wrote this. Accommodation is the name of the poem. I don't need you to sell me the world. I don't need the ugly truth, packaged by opulent sweatshops of banality, force-fed to me in the TV screen. I am human, thinking on my own, owning what I've sown, beast in beauty, reason truly, reasoning with the robotic treasoning of the meaning. Not meant to share this disease with the wrong company. I came here for art. Humor stenciled in color. Drama pulling us closer. As we clutch to our clutches and bunches and wait for the world to sell us its solution. And that is accommodation. FemK has dropped a very key point there in the chat, that there is a compilation online of COVID commercials that are all the same, everyone the same setup, the same music, the same words. And I can probably do it for you right now. And the commercial would go something like, we know that right now is a difficult time, cue recut shots. And that's literally what happened, is commercials couldn't film. So what they did is they recut their old commercials. I don't want to rant. But the point is it was like one of those things that I was entering a world of art. I was entering, and Seinfeld is a little bit of art, it's art. And so I was entering this world where I wanted to enjoy a moment and kind of relax. And then for other people, they might have been entering into drama. They want to be caught in a story. And commercials break that up. But commercials is almost like this tacit, like, subconscious agreement between marketing companies and us, that they rarely ever break through and actually, like, enter into the conscious. Like, they're there in a subconscious. Yes, I know about Charmin wipes because they keep advertising. But do I think about Charmin wipes? No, it's just that they're there. And then when I go in the store, like, that's the way commercials work. And frankly, like, that whole system is an entire exploration onto itself. But really, it's a, I understand that living in a capitalist society as we are now, I have to kind of accept that as the status quo. Unless I manage to shield myself from that. But if you're going to actually try to get my attention, don't do it in a way which is, like, pretentiously silly. So what I'm thinking about for this poem, this is the first draft, is kind of going through and editing it, and maybe pulling a little bit of the snark and putting a little bit more meaning. And kind of making it more clear, because I don't think that the I came here for art portion of the poem is clear enough. And let's as we get started on this process, let's bring in our camera to show us. Hold on a second. I need to move some things around on my desk. There we go. All right. Poem time. All right. I don't think that this is emphasized as much. So I got to figure out how to do that more. And while I do this editing, I'm going to bring back some of our music. Whoa, sorry about that. So all the music on the stream is instrumentals of Akira the Don, a lo-fi artist. And I'll continue to talk as I go through and edit this. David, what have you been up to? And Femke, how is everything going? Feel free to drop stuff in the chat. I have decided to make my poetry request days on Wednesdays and Saturdays, but if you guys are desiring and needing any poetry today, I can more than be willing to write it. I'm also going to be on here for a full hour, so. I know, David. My wife saw last night that you had a live stream of your book launch, or at least your book announcement, and I need to watch that today. I didn't get a chance to watch it yesterday, so I'm really excited to hear to learn more about that. And when City Chess says quiet morning today, finally work has been rough, yet getting lots of writing done. That's good. That's really good. I recently left one of my part-time jobs to do this more because I just wasn't having enough time writing, which is crazy and a little bit scary, but I've been having fun with it. I'm trying to think of a word which would be more appropriate, because I say I don't want to share this disease with the wrong company. Pun on company. Oh, we got to be careful. If I start talking about puns too much, this place will explode. MK says, all good here. She'll be receiving a special anti-migraine injection, the first one. I pray that it will help as well. That is such a troublesome and elusive thing to be dealing with. I have a friend that has migraine issues as well, and really it really does confuse everything. So I will pray for you and hope that it goes well. Wednesday just says LOL. I'm thinking in terms of the puns. Yeah, when we had our request show on the weekend, what we did, and FemK was there to see it, was we had a poem by chat. And so what we did, we had enough people in the chat where I was able to tell people to throw out lines for a poem. And the first thing that someone threw out was puns. And so we did, the poem was entirely puns. It was sometimes disjointed, but rather worked okay. Like, it was good. Yes, chuckling at the puns. Yeah, it was hilarious. What I'll do is I'll send you a picture of that poem so that you can remember what that was like. And also, another announcement, all the streams are going to be public on on YouTube. That's a new thing that's going to be changing. It's original, like the first 50 streams are hidden behind Patreon, but I'm going to make all the streams public so that anybody can access them. And we might have some. I might take the non-Morning Word Show streams and make those Patreon only. I don't want to share this disease with... I don't want to use the word wrong. Like, I want to say bad company. I'm trying to think what would be the best way to describe... Like, when you're talking about, like, your bad friends. Like, negative company. That one is tough. I guess the wrong company works. But I cannot remember for the life of me. Oh goodness, I left the air on. I'll be right back. All right. So, I think I'm going to stick with it. And then this one, I'm just going to kind of write more at this stage. I have room in the poem. Oh, that's beautiful. MK said, also, I wrote your poem crystal clear in my sketchbook and painted a prism next to it. That's wonderful. That's absolutely beautiful. If you send me a picture of it, I'll throw it up on the Instagram. And do you, if you have Instagram or would want to do that, I would love to share that, or at least get to see it if you don't feel comfortable sharing it with the world. That's beautiful. Humor stenciled in color, drama pulling us closer as we clutch to our clutches and bunches. I'm trying to think if this poem closes right. As we clutch to our clutches and bunches and wait for the world to sell us its solution. I don't think I have anything to add to that. As we clutch our clutches in bunches and wait for the world to sell solutions. This poem has a lot going for it in terms of the structure. Like I expected to tear it apart, put it back together again. I think that I think that as long as I expand this section here, that will provide more meaning as opposed to the snark that it kind of is suffused with. All right. All right, let's get to writing. I think I'm going to write this as the final. Let's see. One of the things I got to worry about here is margins. I do have a typewriter pad in the mail, and so this typewriter wandering issue is going to finally be over. Nailed the alignment on that one. Didn't even mean to do that. HS says again, I love the sound of the typewriter. Found your YouTube channel. Looks like I'll be getting caught up on old streams. Well, thank you. That means a lot. I'll be and the old streams will be more regularly posted there, and I'm still kind of figuring out the Patreon and everything. So yeah, that'll be good. And my hope is that eventually there'll be more other content there, and I'll be able to take like the long half-hour streams and then maybe cut things out of them, such as here's when I did this, and let me teach you, this. That was one of the things I was discussing with a friend of mine is how to kind of turn this whole enterprise into something where it could be easily taught, and then I could create specific videos that people could look up. But everything is incremental improvements, and that's the great thing about it. I mean, think about it. Before we didn't even have a Twitch live stream, and the camera would keep falling. I remember those days. It was like streams 20 and 30. It's amazing how things kind of progress. Margin release. We need a comma down here. Play. VANY, so 7. So I could do 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now this is the part which I am, lack of a better word, oh goodness, for lack of a better word, I'm ad-libbing this part. This part I have not written anything for preparation. I'm trying to emphasize the art part of it. Escape from the chaos. Now I'm trying to write some of it out. Escape from the chaos. I'm going to pull out a rhyming dictionary for this one because I want to know what rhymes with chaos. There's a lot of things that probably rhyme with chaos. Dictionary. Albatross. There's one for the ages. But no, I'm not going to use that. Not a lot. Not a lot rhymes with chaos. MK must be watching the ads. She says, these ads are kind of patronizing. That's a good word. Patronizing. Very patronizing is the way that I felt that they were. And I don't want to focus so much on a negative subject, but this poem just draws me in because it's such a sharp critique of the situation. If anybody is watching, this is a poem about COVID advertising during COVID-19 when it got weird. That exactly, MK. Like these companies are the ones we look to for reassurance. Reassurance is the word. And the fact is the reflection on that is that it's the art that actually gives us the reassurance. You know, like companies don't. Like, and the fact is the real click is when a company does something artistic, and it really is genuinely artistic. That's when things actually are pretty cool. Like, I discovered Kate Tempest is the name, I think, of the spoken word artist, because Facebook released this advertisement that was literally, it was just shots of people doing social distancing things, and Kate Tempest, clips from Kate Tempest's poems, People's Faces is the name of the poem. Beautiful poem. Definitely should check it out. And that worked. And like, I think I actually literally like shared that advertisement with some people. I was like, this is beautiful. And it was Facebook doing it, and then Facebook just put their logo up at the end. But like, you know, that's not saying you have to use Facebook. It was nice. It was a nice thing, and so I kind of like that. So that's an example of something good, as opposed to the, you know, all those other companies that patronized us. I gotta finish this poem. I keep dwelling on this, and it's giving me negative energy. It's a good poem, and it's a necessary poem, but I wanna get back into something a little more uplifting. And this part could be it here. And humor stenciled in color. Some sort of pun about product. Got it. And then we're gonna. Oh, too quick. And then we're there, almost there. Right? Like and that's like, yeah, that was kind of the essence I felt of that Facebook ad. Is it was kind of like Facebook was like, well, we don't know what to say, so let's let the poetry speak. And that was like, all right, I can jive with that. And yes, I am sure there's a lot of very good criticism of that moment, like, oh, companies using art for things like that. And I respect that criticism, and there's definitely a room for a disagreement of opinion on that. But I think that Facebook's ad was a good taste, at least. Was an attempt in good taste. And when you do things in good taste, people like you more as a company. One for good luck. And then there's this ending. I want it to end this way. It's good ending, but I don't want to end it and have it end this way. What is it ending like right now? It's ending like that. As we clutch to our clutches in bunches, waiting for the world to sell the solution. I don't know. I want there to be a victory of art. Maybe I shouldn't want that. Maybe not every poem has to end in a way that is positive. Maybe that's part of the art of this one. This one is just giving me a weird feeling in my stomach. Humor stenciled in color, drama pulling us closer as we clutch to our clutches in bunches. I might do something here that I haven't done a lot on this stream, and I might wait on that because I can't. I feel like it needs. There's something about it, and it's not going to be figured out right now. It's a very weird reaction for me to have. The street poet that always knows the right word to say, saying that he doesn't know the right word to say. But I am going to leave it like that. But I'm going to read what I have up to that point, and then maybe revisit that tomorrow. Just those last 4 lines really just don't jive with me. And maybe I'll figure it out as I read it, as ad-libbing it, as what happened on Saturday. So this is the poem, Accommodation. I don't need you to sell me the world. I don't need the contagious truth, repackaged by marketing agencies, stealing agency. Opulent sweatshops of banality, force-fed through the TV screen. I am human, thinking on my own, owning what I've sown, both beast and beauty, reason truly, reasoning with the robotic treasoning of our collective meeting. I don't want to share this disease with the wrong company. I came here for art. The escape from the chaos, giving us substance. Priceless product of imagination, with humor stenciled in color, drama pulling us closer. Okay, and then I hit that, and then I think about lessons. Like, all right, I'm gonna throw something at you guys. I'd love to get your thoughts on it. Accommodation sounds like comedy to me, the same sounding word. Femke, you are actually a poet and you don't know it. All right, that when you like, that's the type of things that run through my head all the time. Like, it's not about the straightforward word, but I think that's absolutely fantastic. I don't think I have a place for that in this poem, but the fact of that relation that's true. It's absolutely true. And the jingle, here's a jingle for you. Stop sitting no the smallest of your ambition. All right, I'm gonna try these lines out. If anybody in the chat wants to chime in, I'm gonna read them. So I'm gonna go back to the poem. Da 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 da. I came here for art, the escape from the chaos, giving us substance. Priceless product of imagination with humor stenciled in color, drama pulling us closer. Here's a jingle for you. Stop. Sit. And know the smallness of your ambition compared to the unaware we now share. Stop, sit, and know the smallness of your ambition compared to the unaware we now share. I was just reading MK's comment. I think that though that even when things won't work into the poems, there's something that about that. And I'll tell you something, accommodation and comedy is definitely going to show up in some poem over the next 2 days. Guaranteed. But as for this, I like this. I can sit with this. I may not go this direction, but it is right now where my heart is, because it's almost like I want to, and it's so interesting. It's funny because the title was really spontaneous. Like, you're accommodating me. Like, I don't want you to accommodate me. I forgot that was even the title, frankly. MK wants it one more time. Here is a jingle for you. Stop. Sit. And know the smallness of your ambition compared to the unaware we now share. I think that's it. I think that clicks. And seriously, if there's anybody in the chat or watching or lurking or whatever that doesn't think that clicks, let me know. It's just more that I think that there's a lesson learned. And I'm sorry that I've taken you guys for a 47-minute journey through a poem that I really didn't need that much work. It was very contemplative. I got I think that's a shock emoji. Is that right? It's hard for me to see emojis through the computer, but I think I got a mouth agape emoji from Winchester Chess. I'll take it as a compliment. But I guess that means that I do have the right sense in terms of that, I guess. Oh, that's perfect. Mind blown. I love the passive aggressive, here's the jingle for you. And I think so, you know what it is the lines that originally were there is we clutch to our clutches in bunches and wait for the world to sell us a solution was very genuine to the time, but it was panicked. It was a panicked, like, you know, it reflects what was happening then, but I don't think it reflects an eternal lesson for the poem. And so, but I think that these new lines, stop, sit, and know the smallest of your ambition compared to the unaware we now share, is more an eternal lesson. At least that's the idea that I was going for with that. Yeah. Right, now I just got to type it into the poem. Well, thank you so much, Wind City Chess. That means a lot. It means a lot to have you guys respond so positively to that, and with the genuine, help with genuinely helping me with that. It took. This poem was weird. It's not as heartfelt, and so as a result, doesn't come as natural to me. These darker poems, it's flipped. I used to be a dark poet. I used to write all this dark poetry and angry poetry and snarky poetry, and then I started writing on the walkie wall. And a year and a half later, I'm actually revisiting some poems that require a little bit of darkness to them, and it's like, oh, this is not, this is not expected. So it really does mean so much to have you guys in the chat being part of the process. It helps. Let's get this poem finished. Six, 7, 8, 9, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 24. So that's 12. And and I see the typewriter's wandering again, but not a moment too soon because we reached the end of the page. I never mind if my signature is floating off the page, but I do mind. Well, it might be a little angled as well, but that's all right. Well, this was an unexpected heavy focus into one single work, which is accommodation. Done though. That's good, and that is one of those poems that is going to be part of my eventual COVID-19 collection that I continue building out, which is good. Believe it or not, I have some poems hung up in a museum now that are I'm going to be posting on Instagram about them soon. Hopefully, I just got to do that. And those poems are all COVID-19 poems, except for one, but that was part of it all. And yeah, it's been just incredible and fun to be writing and stuff like that. Unless we have any requests for some quick rapid fire poems in the chat, I think I'm gonna call it a day. This one unique poem definitely wore me out, but in a good way. And I have a very long day of reaching out to businesses and other meetings for my other jobs and all that craziness. So I want to thank everybody that tuned in today to the stream. I want to thank FenK, Wind City Chess, and anybody that might be lurking in the background. Thank you all so much for being here this morning. What's going to happen now is I will be doing a guest hosting of like sharing on my channel, Akira the Dawn stream, when it starts at 8 o'clock. And if you want any of these poems that were written, well, it was one poem today. If you would like the poem that was written today, my email will be posted on the screen at the end of the stream, and you can feel free to email me, reach out. I also I can take requests through email at any time. Thank you again all so much for being here, and I will be back tomorrow, and we'll see some of you tomorrow.